LSU wins 17-16 down in the swamp. Gators go down. Awful officiating. Bad football in a lot of directions. LSU, we said they had to find a way to win, find a way to leave Gainesville with a W, and they did just that. I'm Tommy Chrysan with Buddy Sanjay here on Pelican Sports TV and WUBR. 17-16 your final. Bud, man, what's up?
Well, I tell you what, folks, we have had some fun. Everybody in here screaming and hollering, hold on, Tigers. So many ironies to talk about in this game. And the first one we start off with, TK, Coach O throwing his kickers under the bus this past Wednesday. And the irony of all of that is a very good kicker for Florida misses a PAT.
First one in his career.
Gets the victory. Look, folks, it wasn't pretty, but this is something that this town, this city, this state, everybody needed. We'll talk about it. We want to have a lot of phone calls. It wasn't pretty. When it was 17-3, TK, I thought LSU was pretty much exerting themselves and looking pretty good. Boy, we want to hear the interaction, and we'll give you all of our tidbits. I've got a bunch of notes to go through, but they found a way. And you know, Tommy, after what happened last year with McElwain making those comments, they deserved, they got what they deserved, and it should have been more. I wouldn't mind it if Coach O said that same thing today. We deserve this game, but it should have been more.
Yeah, it was not a pretty game. A lot of mistakes, no big stats, no great plays, no big plays. But, buddy, we got to say it. The officiating was awful. In both directions, a lot against LSU. The guy running out of bounds, and that's not replay. Coach O maybe should have called time. I don't know. Number 7 should have been thrown out of the game when he slapped Cage in the face. I mean, it's
three targeting calls.
The officiating was bad.
3 targeting calls on Florida. They did not even look at him, TK. You got to know that sometimes you got to beat the officials on the road. But I thought Matt Canada had his best half of calling plays. Really had Florida off balance. This is what we all anticipated. Dinkin and Duncan throwing to the running backs, the tight ends on the delays, mixing up the running game. Second half, almost a little bit of playing not to lose.
Well, and I tell you what, too, we learned that Danny Etlin's a pretty tough dude. I mean,
we knew that.
He put his head down. I mean, he's not the most talented quarterback in America, but he will put his head down. He will try to make some things happen, and he did do that a bunch today. You know, the effort was certainly there. Text messages, LSU back. Has Coach O. Coach O was the problem with the offense before. A couple other question marks. Text message, defense good, offense good enough. We got to get to the phone lines, buddy. They're lining up. The phone number to call is 225-928-4910. If you want to send a text message, it's area code 504-689-9246. Frank's in Baton Rouge. Frank, good evening. You're on the postgame show.
How y'all, TK and Buddy?
Frank, I wore this hat for you today. This is the 2011 LSU SEC Championship hat, and they didn't necessarily play like champions, but Frank, I think everybody in this state realized the magnitude of this game. This was a must-win, and I'll give them a little tribute. It wasn't pretty. I thought they did some good things like TK alluded to, but boy, it's sweet to see LSU win an SEC game on the road, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer bunch of Gators. I agree with TK. I thought the officiating was atrocious. It's something we'll talk about on the radio shows all during the week. A lot of good things. I thought Darius Geis started to get a little momentum in the second half. Frank, when did you, other than when
I'm going to say what I think. I'm glad Orgeron did what he did, spoke out, and they had that little meeting. I think they had some words, harsh words amongst each other, but I think it did a world of
It definitely did some good. This team came out, fired up. They had intensity from the get-go. It looked like a completely different team than what we saw against Troy last week. Bottom line is it was leave Gainesville with a win, and they did. So credit must be given.
And I'm going to say another thing. I'm proud of them freshmen, and I've said it a long time ago. It's going to be hard for them to win against a good, tough team playing all them freshmen. I don't care if you're Nick Saban or the coach for the New England Patriots. It's going to be tough.
Well, Frank, look, they had 3 freshmen playing on the offensive line. Most people know KJ Malone got hurt early on, and then Toby Weathersby got re-injured again. So you literally had TK and Frank, Edward Ingram, and Sadiq Charles and Austin Deculus. Deculus playing the most he's played all year long. He made some mistakes. He did enough. The only thing that I cautioned, Frank, I thought they ran Danny Etlin a little bit too much. You know, they said all along they didn't want to put Miles Brennan. He wasn't ready to face that atmosphere, and we understand that. But, you know, you're not going to go too much further if you keep running Danny Etlin 7-8 times and a half. But
Yeah, well, you know, evidently, I don't know if it's the offensive line or the confidence in Edelin. They don't want him throwing the ball. And I can see probably why, because if it can't take too much time, you got to get rid of it quick, because he don't have that much of a defense against the rush. But on the other hand, number 40 did a hell of a job.
you know the irony of it all, TK, we all saw it. And Frank, by the way, I didn't think that Gary Danielson and his partner had a great game. The lead guy was constantly making mistakes, and Gary Danielson got onto a lot of people's skin. My phone was blowing up. But look, they found a way to win. Now they're going to play a team right now on all cylinders, Auburn. But, you know, you were talking. I'll tell you another thing I like, Frank. I like Coach O getting away from the offense. He had no business tinkering with the offense, and I think you saw the difference in the first half with Matt Canada's offense. That's what you're supposed to do, TK, to get them off balance. It wasn't as great in the second half. But, Frank, I do think the meeting and all the words that were said this week had some positives.
I'm going to savor this win, and I'm going to let y'all go and let other people call y'all.
Thank you, Frank. We appreciate it. Whatever Coach O did made a big difference from last Saturday to this Saturday, whether it's throwing people under the bus, the meeting with Oliva, snapping on his radio show, whatever he did behind closed doors with the coaches and players, whatever he did on the practice field, he definitely changed the mindset, because that, to me, was a very different team today that went into Gainesville and beat Florida as opposed to the team that lost to Troy last week. Very good chance, nothing official yet. 2:30 kickoff next week against Auburn.
No doubt.
Let's go to Danny in Sunset. Danny, you're on the postgame show.
Hey, Don, what's going on?
Hey, Danny, Happy New Year. I don't think we talked to you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. You're right.
Good to talk with you, Danny.
Great win by the Tigers. I'm not going to be fooled by this. I mean, Florida's not really a great team.
Right.
But something needs to be done about this officiating crew. Is there some kind of recourse? Somebody's going to look at this?
No, they grade officials.
Absolutely horrible.
Danny, they grade the officials every week, and they talk to them.
I don't care about grading.
Well, let me finish. They don't make any of that stuff public. There have been guys that have been demoted or will go to a lower tier game, if you will, but they're never going to say any of that. And if there's a guy that has enough problems through the course of the season, he's not going to call the next year in the SEC. He'll be in another league or another division.
I mean,
Danny,
you realize that we're just an extra point miss from still playing football.
Yeah.
I mean, LSU could have very easily lost this game.
Sometimes the break goes your way, sometimes it goes against you. It went LSU's way with that extra point. First one that guy ever missed in his career, I think 46 straight coming into that. He missed it, and the Tigers found a way to hold on and win.
But it was a high snap. It was a high snap and a tough haul.
I mean, I don't want to get the extra point, but this officiating is terrible.
Well, the officiating was bad in a lot of directions, not just against LSU. It was just bad all the way around, probably more against LSU than Florida.
You punch somebody in the face and...
Yeah, that guy should have been ejected, there's no question.
And the big fella upstairs took care of number 7. He had a pick 6 he dropped. He had another interception he dropped. And then, if you remember, folks, number 7 was the guy DJ Shark was fighting for. Simultaneous possession. Shark had a great catch. But Danny, back to your call about the officiating.
Right.
Look, I saw three targeting calls on Florida, and not only did they not review them, but they didn't even call them for the first time. If you're going to call helmet to helmet, you got to call it for both teams, and I thought that was about as bad as you can get officiating.
Out of bounds twice, and nobody reviewed that on one of the plays. I mean, it's just a joke.
Well, and then the guy on the outside, not only did he run out of bounds, Danny, but he ran out of bounds 3 steps. Now,
Right, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Right.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
TK, you would think, though, that a defensive guy up in the booth.
I don't know if they can look at that.
I don't know if they have replay
I
up
think
there.
they
It's a
can.
question to ask for Coach O. But somebody on the staff, Danny, should have alerted and said
Well,
down
John
here.
Bible should have risked,
Call the timeout and say, go
down.
look at it.
No, you got a message down to the head ref that I got to look at this. Well, I wasn't even close.
Am I going to see the SEC network tomorrow saying, hey, this crew needs to be suspended?
No. No, they won't say anything about those officials. We know that.
That's bullshit.
Okay, Danny.
All right, Dan, hey, text message, buddy. Then we're going to get to a break. This was not the prettiest game, but they won. That is all that matters. That's a good text message. Ugly victory, but a win is a win. Kind of the same theme as the previous text. Let's see, one more text, then we're going to do the break. I've never seen someone running out of bounds and nobody see it. I agree 100% with that.
Pathetic.
17-16, Tigers win. First, Ed Orgeron did not win a road game in his 3-year tenure at Ole Miss. Yes, he won a couple last year when he was interim coach. First road win as a permanent head coach. So you take that off of the list, and they go ahead and beat Florida. And the Tigers are now 1-1 in league play, hosting Auburn next week. Kickoff time to be determined. We appreciate you watching on Pelican Sports TV. You're listening on WUBR, the smartphones. We got the free app, WUBR, the computers, the tablets, the whole bit. Give us a call, send a text. We'll come back and talk some more about LSU's win in Gainesville against Florida. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Krysan, Pelican Sports TV, WUBR Radio. Stay with us. Accord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Accord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Spread the roar. That's right, Tigers Roar. Each Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans. Replays are Thursday through Saturday, and the show is available at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Tommy Krysan and Jordy Holtberg will have the latest on LSU football, LSU sports, and sports from across Louisiana. Spread the roar. Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
We continue with the Pelican Sports Postgame Show. LSU beats Florida 17-16. As most of the text messages have said, it wasn't pretty, but it was a win. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Chrysan with you. Phone lines are open if you want to give us a call at 225-928-4910 or send a text message to area code 504-689-9246. He's standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. Here's Barry. Barry, you're on the Postgame Show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Long time no talk, Barry. Are you living over there now?
Yeah, hey, you know, that's an old running joke between me and Tommy, but I'm old and decrepit, and I look like Joe Walsh now.
Oh, okay. Well, we hadn't heard from you, so I hope you're doing well.
Great to hear from you, Barry.
Yeah, flooded out and back and beautiful again. So
okay, good.
Yeah, to quote the great prophet Jim McElwain, he got what he deserved.
And it should have been more.
Just had to throw that in. This was the game that was circled. And, you know, I told all my coworkers this week that LSU would win. And if you couldn't come back from a humiliating loss and being the homecoming opponent, then it would be one team, no heartbeat. So I felt like they would show up. And you could tell early that they were fired up. Mm-hmm. Wasn't a pretty game. Bad officiating, targeting. Danny Etling was butchered out there. I mean, he was hit a couple of times in the head. But they played hard, and, you know, they basically salvaged the season. Hey, look, you're only as good as your next game. You know, if they lose next week and they're 4-3 and 1-2, that's not good enough. In my opinion, you got to win next week. You got to beat Ole Miss, and you got to go into the bye week 6-2. But we'll take today and be happy with it.
Yeah, you have to be happy with it, especially after everything that went on from this post-game show immediately following the loss to Troy and then all the way up until this afternoon. I mean, everything that went on, you know, it was a mess. It was a firestorm, whatever you want to call it. But somehow, some way, they found a way to leave Gainesville with a win. They needed to, and they did, and we got to tip our hat and give them credit.
Barry, I think everybody saw right early in the game that LSU's defense came to play. They were hitting. They were very good. 26-48. A battle went out because he got a stinger. I'm almost glad. He missed so many tackles. 48, Donnie Alexander. We all thought he was going to have the Duke Riley type of senior year, and it just hadn't worked out for Donnie. So, look, let's give Christian Locketeur. Rashard Lawrence shows you how much he brings.
He wasn't 100%, but he was sucking it up out there.
He was. Devin White still their guttiest guy and the leader on that defense. Thought the DBs played well. Once again, some missed tackles. But look, in the first half, with the play calling and defense, you couldn't have been much happier, Barry. Unfortunately, we got into that play not to lose in the second half, and it almost cost them. And we all have to take into consideration that Florida is not a great football team, probably not even a good team. But all the emotion from last year and all the things that have been said and all the controversy with this game being in the swamp, it was poetic justice, guys, that LSU end up winning this game on a missed PAT after Coach O threw his kickers under the bus. How about Connor Cup with 2 PATs and a field goal?
Absolutely. You know, that was, I thought about that as he hit it. You know, Arden Keep obviously played his best game. Devin White is the star of the defense. Darryl, look, let's give it to 28.
Sure.
He played a really good game. He's a Pierre Thomas type player. He's a really,
he's a tough kid.
He's purple and gold, and I think he was a very important part of the game today and the last few years. I mean, I think he's a really great Tiger.
Barry, Darryl had 3 catches for 29 yards. That was the most catches. And by the way, he carried it 12 times for 35. And, you know, Florida's defense was stingy at times. But, you know, behind that offensive line with 3 freshmen out there at one point, I mean, you know, I think they did well to rush for 216 yards as they did with the line that they put out there. I'm not knocking the line. I'm just saying you can't expect them guys to push Florida around all night, and they pushed them around more times than not.
Barry, Dr. Phil called in at halftime and asked me what was wrong with Darius Geis. And I don't have the answer. I don't think anybody does. He did have a couple of plays where he looked like the old Darius Geis. But what do you see, Barry, with the naked eye as far as 5 not being able to get into space? And I think he's had one run for 25 yards. That's his longest run this year. But, I noticed he was 7-8 pounds heavier going in, at least it listed in the fall camp. I got a lot of people that told me they were at a scrimmage, and he had the same type of problems that Fournette had. He got hurt 2 weeks before the opening game in a scrimmage. You would have thought that they would learn not to scrimmage, but that's the part that's so tough on football. You got to get your team ready to play tackle football at full speed, but you don't want to beat up your team. This second year in a row, TK, your best running back has been hurt and not played. Darrell Williams, to me right now, Barry, is playing better football than Darius Geis.
Hey, absolutely. And Geis' problem is simply that he's hurt. I mean, that's the problem. You can't get any leverage off of your foot. But yeah, I agree with you. Williams is and look, college football more than any other sport is week to week. Last week LSU was probably a laughing stock. How about this week? Oklahoma, a touchdown favorite. They're probably a laughing.
Big 12's out of the playoff again.
So again, hopefully next week it's going to be very tough. I mean, obviously, Auburn's one loss to Clemson looks pretty damn good. So you're going to have a top 10 team coming in, and it's going to be the best home game of the year. It's going to be the most atmosphere. I don't know if that's a CBS game or not. It may be, or maybe a night game. But you can continue to move on, and I think I'm happy today. But if you lose next week, it just evens. You have to win the next 2 and go into that bye week 6-2 to give yourself what you've done for the last 5 or 10 years. Go into November with at least, technically a chance to you hold your destiny in your own hands.
Frank Haran does come back next week, and that's going to help a little bit with the defensive depth issues. Barry, watching Auburn, though, they are a juggernaut on offense, and they're really good on defense. What was that final on Ole Miss? I turned it off.
Ole Miss scored a little bit late, 44-23.
Okay,
like that.
all right. Bottom line is, Barry, right now, TK and I always try to predict what the point spread is. And TK, that's the only reason I picked LSU this week. When I saw all that money going on LSU, especially late, you and I talked about it this morning, and they knew something. They obviously knew that a lot of things had happened at Baton Rouge. Well, let's be honest, folks. Florida has been playing like this and has been winning games. They had a Hail Mary to beat Tennessee. They also had a miracle win over Kentucky. So we're not talking about a top 10 or a top 15 team here, but how good does it feel to beat Florida after all of the stuff that happened, and then to see the SEC officiating bending LSU over as many times as they did.
Yes.
Look, TK talked about the procedure. Coach O is going to watch the film. They're going to send 9 or 10 plays into the conference, and nothing happens. And it's quite frustrating that we have this scenario. It didn't cost them the game, but it could have with all the missed calls that they had. And I don't know how Coach O, I know he's all the way on the other sideline, but when you've got stepping out 3 steps and you let that play go, which was about 20 yards of field position, it just gives the SEC the incompetence once again with the officiating. And somebody should have stepped in and looked at that.
Hey, real quick, I know you got guys on the line, but very unusual. I know the games are usually a week or 2 in advance, but they mentioned 3 games as possibilities for 2:30. So you think LSU? I mean, obviously LSU winning certainly increases the chance that it would.
And Auburn won, so that there's certainly a chance that announcement will probably come sometime tomorrow. As soon as we know, everybody will know due to social media.
Arkansas plays Alabama, Barry.
That won't be on. Arkansas got beat.
This is all next week. Arkansas and Bama, LSU and Auburn, Florida and A&M, Georgia and Missouri.
That's going to be LSU and Auburn at 2:30. That's my guess. That's a guess.
Ole Miss and Vandy, Mississippi State, BYU.
2:30.
Yep. It looks like it'll probably be 2:30, Barry.
Sounds good. All right. Hey, good talking to you guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Barry. All right, here's a text message. At least this game looked like they wanted to play. That's correct. Where was Greedy?
Kevin Tolliver played a lot.
Greedy wasn't hurt, was he?
I don't think so. I think Kevin Tolliver may have done the things at practice they wanted him to do, and he played a lot. Dante Jackson played in the slot a lot. Instead of, they played Dante Jackson. Greedy played a lot, but Dante Jackson played in the nickel in the slot a lot more than he normally has. You've been seeing Kerry Vincent and Xavier Lewis. Kerry Vincent, I did not see out on the field much. Look, not to kick some of those guys, but man, the missed tackles are so frustrating. And you know Aranda's got something to work with. Frank comes back next week. They gotta get healed up though. They need Rashard Lawrence and others.
McElwain's lucky streak finally ends. Go Tigers. That's another text. Let's see. LSU controls its own destiny. They can win out and go play in Atlanta. How about that? Okay, we're going to take a break, come back, more phone calls, more text messages. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Krysan, Pelican Sports TV, WUBR Radio. Don't forget, TV repeats Sunday morning, back-to-back airings at 9 and 10:30. And as soon as the kickoff time for Auburn next week is announced sometime tomorrow, it'll be all over social media. You'll know it before we get on the air Monday. That's what I mean to say. We'll come back. Phone calls, text messages. Let's mix it up after this pause. Stay with us.
All right.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hooper Road Car Care in Central has been serving customers for over 24 years. Locally owned by Donald and Gina Gaspard, they provide all types of car care, including brakes, alignment, tune-ups, oil changes, AC service, transmission, computer diagnostic, and much more. Hooper Road Car Care also provides towing services. Call 225-262-7127. Open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, 9695 Hooper Road in Central.
Jaguar Nation, I'd like to say thank you for your continued support of our student athletes and our coaches. Once again, you have shown America we have the greatest fans in the country. It's time. Football season. Season tickets are available. Go Jags.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, a CLK multifamily management property. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. Stop by Cypress Lake Apartments, call 225-293-6789, or go online, live at cypresslakeapts.com. I want to tell you about Laundry Diva. What is Laundry Diva? A pickup and delivery service that will wash and fold your laundry, dry cleaning, bedding, linens, drop your pants, never do laundry again. It's cheaper than going to the laundromat. It saves money. It saves time. Call Laundry Diva at 225-614-1326. Website laundrydivau.com. Again, pick up and deliver. Save you time and money. Numerous pickup and delivery spots on the LSU campus and in the surrounding apartment communities. But anywhere, they'll pick it up and deliver. They're over on Coursey Boulevard. You'll see the pink sign. Laundry Diva, dry cleaning, wash and fold, pickup, delivery, 225-614-1326. LaundryDivaU.com has all the info. Buddy, 17-16, LSU wins. I'm at the SEC website, and they have not posted the time yet for next week's Auburn-LSU game, but I expect that's late tonight or early tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's go. Phone number is 225-928-4910. Text message line is area code 504-689-9246. Bill's in Gonzales. Bill, you're on the post-game show.
Yeah, hi, Tommy and Buddy.
Hey,
look,
Bill,
I'm
good to
glad
talk
you
to you.
don't have the shades on this evening, my man.
Well,
you look better with your beady eyes. Look fine, man.
Look, I didn't have to
And,
put them on.
Oh, there you
Bill,
go.
I will say
Yeah.
this, Bill. I'll let you
Yeah.
talk, but this is what I think of the SEC officiating. Pitiful. Absolutely pathetic.
Well, I tell you what, if you watched any of that game with Ole Miss and Auburn earlier, I saw the same thing on the field with the Tigers in Florida here later on, because finally they called that one holding call late in the game on Florida. They had to. I mean, Locature's shoulder pad looked like one of them old wing out.
They held
ankle ring
LSU
shoulder
all
pads,
night.
I think we used to call them. But I will say this. I know some people call me crazy, but I told them earlier in the week the Tigers were going to beat the Gators. I wish they would have got more points, but I put it this way. It's like our quarterback was too keyed up early in the game and overshot wide open receivers. And then he's trying to do it with his feet later in the game. He needs to get it to the running back. That's about my only gripe. Like I told y'all last week, we're a transitional team. Y'all know that too. And right now we're at the point where the defense stood up when they had to, and I'm happy for that. And, man, all I know is they can get up. I'm going to come out in the open now and say it. They can beat Auburn, too. Auburn didn't really impress me. And as far as the other teams, like y'all were talking last week, like who can we beat? Ole Miss, their defense, I mean, if we thought the Tigers were ever bad on defense this year, Ole Miss is worse because they do not tackle. At least the Tigers miss tackles. They try. Go ahead.
Well, Bill, I think you make a lot of valid points. First of all, I think everybody has to be cognizant of the fact that LSU won this football game with 3 true freshmen on the offensive line. Guys, I've been covering LSU for almost 30 years. I don't ever remember, Bill, 3 true freshmen playing in the offensive line at one time, unless it was garbage time.
And let's point it out, with those guys on the line, they took the air out of the ball at the end of the game, as they had to do.
But he was talking about Auburn. You've got to make the plays. Danny Etling has got to hook up with Darrell Williams on the wheel route. That was wide open. You can't overthrow that pass last week. Let's give Matt Canada a lot of credit. He did what he was supposed to do. All the motion, he had them all unbalanced. He didn't know whether they were going to run it or pass it. Second half kind of reverted back to the old sit on it a little bit. If they can have 2 halves like they played this first half, Bill, I think they got a great chance of beating Auburn.
They'll win, right. I agree. And finally, it seemed like the square peg is starting to go in the round hole because I think the Canada and the offensive players had to get a fit with each other. And maybe they're starting to do that. And, you know, we got young players on offense, too, and I think they used Geis very well today. I mean, he was running harder, but the thing is, you know, with the knee injury, whatever he had last week, and it's like, I put it this way. He's a marked man. We know that. I mean, everybody, he has the big target on his back, and Chattanooga, Syracuse, and Troy proved that. So if we use him as a decoy and use him sparingly like we did today, I think it'll be to good effect. And I'm thinking I'm happy, and I think they can make a good run. And, you know, I got caught up in the whirlwind too much from about 2011 to 15 with got to beat Bama. Well, Bama's only one of 12 games. And, you know, like we've talked for the past couple of years now, it's what we do in these other games, and hopefully we can play toe-to-toe with Bama like we did last year. And, hey, miracles do happen, you know. And so anyways, guys, and I will say this, I don't care what Syracuse coach says this week about LSU. They did eke out a win today because this is a little bit better team they got. I can't stand them, and but that's another story in itself for another day, and y'all take care.
All right, Bill, thanks.
Thank you, Bill. You know, it's, buddy, we've seen this. You got almost 30 years in. I'm a year or two behind you. How it'll go from one week to the next. And this is not just about Bill from Gonzales. This is about what we're going to hear all week, Monday through Friday, the whole bit. So, you know, that's part of it. That's what it goes with it. When it's bad, it's bad. When it's good, it's good. And it's just funny to kick back and observe.
But we also know, TK, that as we have both said for many, many years, we in this part of the country, this is a religion. This is their pride and joy. We're 48th, 49th, or 50th and everything important. And it's nice to see everybody have that good feeling in the belly. Last Saturday was one of those bad feelings. And, you know, it's like anything else that's good. When you get that good feeling again, it reminds you. I think you made a great point. Forget worrying about Bama. Let's go 1 week at a time. And it's nice to see them finally do what it takes to get the W.
Here's a good text message. There's too much at stake with these games for such awful officiating. And I didn't see, but I did watch some of Auburn Ole Miss today, but you know, it's got to somehow get better. I mean, I know these kids are big and fast and strong and all that good stuff, but the officiating somehow has got to get better, especially when the guy's running out of bounds and nobody – there's two people supposed to be looking at that on the field, and you got a replay guy, so 3 people missed it. We're going to take a break, come back, more phone calls, more text messages. Final score from Gainesville still to come. Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Ronnie Rance is in Gainesville. We'll get his report from the locker room. 17-16, Tigers beat the Gators. We're back after this pause. Stay with us.
Hey, where's Steph?
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For Total Pest Control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, HardiePlank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows is honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Hi, I'm Roger Kadar. I'm here to tell you about Smith, Shanklin, and Sosa. You won't find them on billboards, but you'll find them in the courtroom where real lawyers are. You see, billboards do not solve cases. Real trial lawyers do. So if you're hurt and need a lawyer, call 225-223-6333.
I get a run,
LSU wins 17-16. Appreciate you watching and listening to the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show with Buddy Sanjay. I'm Tommy Krysan. Phone lines are jumping. Let's go to Rodney and Baker. Rodney, you're on the post-game show. I'll tell you what, if I put him on, it'd be better. Go ahead, Rodney. That was on me.
Yeah, how you doing, Tommy?
Thank you, Rodney.
I just had a 8-pound, 6-ounce grandson.
Congratulations.
Yeah, look, I just want to say this here. TK, I don't have no problem with the announcers because I like the announcers, but I'm going to call Alden Key out tonight. Alden Key, I'm calling you out tonight to be a Lawrence Taylor on that team. Coach O, guess what, Coach O? I've been in Baton Rouge 65 years. You ain't earned it yet. You know when you earn it? When you beat Alabama, that's when you earn it. I'm going to say this here. I'm going to call you out this week because I think you got a shot against Auburn. But I'm going to say this here. Matt Calendar, I don't know what kind of offense you're running. That look like it's the wing tier, the Statue of Liberty, but I don't like that offense. You have to throw the ball downfield, and y'all have to stay out of third down. And I'm going to say this here. Y'all won it tonight because my baby was born into the world, and guess what? When he get big enough, he's going to be a Tiger, but we're going to need a better coach. I'm going to say this here, Coach O, to you. I'm going to call you out again, and I think the fan was right when he told you that you hadn't earned it. And I agree with that, and I'm going to say this here. You're not talking to a Cam Newton. I stand behind what I say. I'm going to say this here, Coach O. I'm calling you out right now to get that team fired up. And I'm going to say this here too, Coach O. I really believe that the boy from Long Beach, Mississippi, named Miles Brennan, is the quarterback right now and for the future. Now, if you want to keep your job, if you want to win down there, start Miles Brennan. And I'm going to say this here too. Danny Edlin, you got to learn how to stand in the pocket and take some pressure, still taking off running with the ball. And the announcer was right. You're not going to last running the football. And I'm going to say this here, like Coach O say, if we start Miles Brennan from Long Beach, Mississippi, we can win the SEC championship and beat Alabama. If we don't, Tommy, then guess what? I'd never call that line again. Look, God bless y'all. God keep y'all. Have a good program.
Hey, go have fun with your grandson.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Was that Rodney Dangerfield?
Rodney's been a long time listener to you and I on the radio, and he's supported this show for a long, long time.
Hey,
no
just
doubt.
to comment a couple of things that he said. Look, Danny Etlin's a great person. He's not a great football player. But right now they feel like he is the best that they have at quarterback because Miles Brennan is not physically ready.
He looked like Frank's looked, the freshman.
He did. But a lot of what he said. But how about that? Coach O, boy, I tell you what,
Rodney
was fired up, man.
I got no problem with that. Let's go to Dango on line 2. Dango, you're on the post-game show.
I think Rodney was drinking too much today, I think.
Dango, what's up?
Buddy, I thought I was watching the Alabama game today because of all the damn bad calls we were getting this year.
Yeah, you're right.
We usually get that all the time against Bama, and now it's against Florida, too. That was pretty bad. But, yeah, Adeline is not the quarterback. Golly. I mean, he has happy feet back there. He gets any kind of pressure. He gets nervous. He wants to throw the ball away too quick. I mean, everything. It's just we're not going to win with Adeline back there. I don't see how we're going to win with him. We were lucky to win this game. If Miles was coached this year, we wouldn't have won that game. He'd have blew it somehow.
No doubt, Miles.
Cameron back there.
Miles Brennan has more upside. We know that Danny Etling is limited. And here's the thing, Dango, that I thought, and I've been seeing this with Danny. Darrell Williams, they had about a 3rd and 5 or 6. Darrell Williams is running in the flat all by himself.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes over the middle. All he had to do was see Williams and throw him the ball. Gary Danielson pointed this out. I don't think he sees the field good enough, number one. On the long ball.
He feels that pressure he gets, he loses it then, too.
You got a man wide open and nobody around. Even if you underthrow it, you got to make sure he catches that ball. That cost him 6 points. But he's tough, and right now they feel most confidence. He's the best they got, but he's very
right now. But boy, that's scary.
He's very frustrating to watch. But look, I thought they ran him too much in the second half. I don't know if they're trying to beat him up or not, but he's not going to be able to go through too many more of those where he had to run. How many running plays? He had 6, 7,
9.
9 runs. He won't last the season if they continue to do that.
If they North Seas, they can run the ball like that with him. Shoot. Who knows?
Yeah, Loyal Narcisse could do that. I mean, he's got the body. But look, he got the win for him, but he's disappointing that he hadn't gotten better throwing the ball. And I agree with Dango and Rodney, TK. Let's be honest. You're not going to beat the big boys if you don't throw the ball, because LSU is not going to be able to line up and push people around at the line of scrimmage, Dango.
It's amazing with the three freshman offensive linemen we're doing it as good as we are right now.
Yeah.
Really.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. But and Florida got hurt. I mean, we hurt Florida big time today.
They did. They had a lot of injuries. They had a lot of suspensions. And I thought Gary Danielson had a blue and orange pom-pom for a while.
You're right.
I mean, he was given every little benefit of the doubt. And then when LSU started to play well at 17-3, he says, well, Florida's got all these suspensions on. Everybody has.
Yeah, what about LSU? LSU still got guys out, don't they?
But look, the commentators, we don't care about all of that. The bottom line is that Dango, just like many times, TK, I'm beating Dango, and then we get to 18, and he wins by a stroke, and he goes, yeah. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, we've all been there. We've all felt it.
That's the old days we had good knees, buddy.
I know it. We're all getting old, Dango. Good talking to you, bud.
Appreciate the call, Dango. Let's go to Louie in Baton Rouge. Louie, you're on the post-game show.
Yeah, I got a couple comments.
Hey, Louie.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Well, to follow up that call, you're really something special.
Well, I can tell you that a couple things. The end of the game, them snapping the ball, handed off. I just don't get that. And the TV people agreed, and I think anybody watching the game, why are you taking a chance handing it off? That could have been a disaster. The second thing, Danny Etling just doesn't have the tools to do this. So everybody get ready. He just can't bring you to the promised land, and I don't think Brennan can either. So they'll just have to fight their way through their offense. I think that their offense is okay, but I think Florida's horrible. I think Florida may lose 3 or 4 more games. They just don't have I don't think they have the players either. It's all about coming down to players. And LSU's offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to give the offensive line credit. They did way better this game, and they got those 2 freshmen playing. They need to let them keep playing.
They played 3 freshmen after Toby Weathersby got hurt.
Yeah.
So they played Sadiq Charles, Edward Ingram, and Austin Deculus played for the first time.
Yeah. Deculus, that's his first.
And he did give up a 5-yard negative play, but he played relatively well. Louis, I thought Matt Canada, and this kind of getting what Rodney was saying about the option. Louis, you've been around football for a long time. Dave Aranda, TK, mentioned it. It's almost like the triple option. There was a lot of success with the jet sweep or the flash sweep that he calls it in the first half. They really had people unbalanced, and I thought for the first time this year, the Tiger Nation didn't know what he was going to call. He really had people off balance and had Florida off balance. Unfortunately, reverted back to way too much Danny Etling, and I have to agree with you, Rossi. He's limited, and Dango mentioned it. He just doesn't see the field. He doesn't take what the defense gives him short enough. They did throw early to the backs out the backfield, went away from it. But not to complain after a W, but I think if you look at Auburn's quarterback or Alabama's quarterback or A&M's quarterback or Arkansas's quarterback or Ole Miss's quarterback, they're all better than Danny Etling.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have a grasp when he drops back to pass. I should go here, here, and here. He's like he's looking downfield to see who's open. I don't get that. And he's a senior. He shouldn't be at that level. Now, I'm going to say this about Matt Canada on offense. The second touchdown was because he shifted all those people around and both of them were wide open. And I said to myself, people don't understand. When you run all that, when you do all that shifting around, every coverage in the defensive backfield changes. And you hope someone makes a mistake. And that was a good example of what happens probably half the time.
Right.
Someone's going to be wide open simply because they didn't understand the coverage when the ball was snapped.
18 and 44 were open.
Huh?
18 and 44 were open.
Yeah, both of them. And because they didn't know who to cover when they moved them over there. And that's what you're doing. That's what you've got to understand. When he's doing that, he's trying to confuse the coverage, which happens a lot at college. They know who they know that someone's going to make a mistake. Someone's going to not know who to get. And that's a critical part of the conversation when you're doing all that shifting. And a lot of people don't like it, say it doesn't mean nothing. Well, it does mean something in the defensive backfield. Every time they move, everybody's coverage changes. So you better hope someone doesn't make a mistake if you're on defense. The other thing, the kickoff guy, I've had it with him. How long has he been here? 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, he's a senior.
Move on. Get somebody else, let them kick off, and let have nobody kick the ball. I watch every other team kick the ball in the end zone. Ellis is kicking it out of bounds. I'm like, come on. I've had enough of that.
They haven't had somebody to do that consistently in 10 years.
Right. He did.
No. And
He looked like your drive. He snapped, looked at left.
Yeah, well.
And I can't say enough good things about the defense. People getting on Aranda, he's doing a very good. He's a good coach. I'm gonna tell you, these guys. He puts their guys in position to make the plays. They can't make the tackle. There's nothing else they can do about it. A la Joey Thibodeau.
Okay. Well, look, still a lot of missed tackles by 26, 48, and a bunch of other guys. You know, when you start talking about bringing in all these freshmen to play, this is excellent experience, but, you know, nobody ever wants to admit rebuilding. So, Louis, you've seen most of the teams in the SEC. It's obvious Alabama's on a perch. Nobody can touch that. Georgia looks like the second best team. Auburn probably the third best team. But then you have a level of 3 or 4 teams that LSU could ascend to if they could just put it together. We'll have to wait to see the injury situation on the offensive line. But are you as a fan ready to admit that LSU's in a rebuild mode right now?
Oh, absolutely, with all the freshmen playing. But I can tell you one guy I'm totally impressed with. All 5 games, number 40. He's a flat-out player.
He is.
Yes, he's very good.
He is a player. He is absolutely. He's as good as the guy they had last year, and as good as the guy that, Beckwith and the guy that's on the Falcons. He's in that level. He's that good.
And he's got a big heart, and he's learning to be more of a leader. Look, the irony of all of this, Louis, Coach O throws his field goal kickers under the bus on the teleconference on Wednesday. Be interesting if McElwain, first one this kid's ever missed. So,
McElwain don't matter no more.
No.
The hold was bad. I can't get.
Oh yeah, hold was
McElwain
bad.
don't matter no more, buddy.
They're going to get skunked by Georgia here in a couple of weeks, Louis. Florida.
They're going to, and I just don't think Florida's. I think they're in the same position LSU is. There's crowds around what it used to be. That's what I'm thinking about them. I think Ole Miss is bad. Arkansas is bad. Texas A&M's bad. Auburn's good, but the rest of Alabama's good. But the rest of the guys are just going to go down and have a good game. It's going to be like a 1-point Florida game. Whoever happens to get ahead and someone makes a mistake, that's just going to win those other 4 games. So
I guess you're going to the game next week now, Louis.
Now I got to go to a meeting in Pittsburgh. So
Okay. We'll take your tickets.
Okay, I
All
may
right.
call you about that.
All right.
Thank you, Louis.
All right, buddy, I got a question for you. Several people have texted this question, and I'll go before it and say that I didn't think there was any way LSU was going to beat Florida. I said it all week on the radio.
But
I didn't predict a route.
nail Troy last week.
I know, but I didn't pick. I said I thought Florida would win 24-14. They'd have scored late. I'd have been somewhere in the ballpark. But aside from that, I didn't think they had a chance. Told people at lunch today, I don't think they have a chance. So I was dead wrong. You win, you get some right, you get some wrong. But here's the question. Can they beat Auburn? This has been texted by several people. And I don't know if I should say, because I didn't think they could beat Florida. I don't think they can beat Auburn. I'll say that now. Now let's give it a week to study everything up and find out what's going on, see who's hurt, who's not hurt. But I think certainly by beating Florida, they now have a chance to beat Auburn. Had Florida beat LSU, I'd said no way they beat Auburn. Auburn's been on a little bit of a roll lately and really jumped all over Ole Miss today. It was ugly. I know Ole Miss scored a little bit late and screwed up the point spread for those of you that had Auburn. But I think because they beat Florida, they have a chance to beat Auburn. You?
I agree with that, and I think that they're going to have to play their best game of the year to beat Auburn. Danny Etling is going to have to throw the ball a little bit better. Auburn's got a couple of bruising running backs. Devin White's got to get some help inside. They can't miss all those tackles. You got to put more pressure on Stidham. Right now, I'd say Auburn ought to be a 3 or 4 point favorite in this game, opening line on Sunday night.
We got some people on the line. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com going to get his thoughts and observations. Brian Lazar is up right after this pause on the Pelican Sports Postgame Show, Pelican Sports TV, and WUBR. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment. 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hi, I'm Jordy Helper for Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. Chairman's Reserve steaks, their pork, their chicken, their seafood, top of the line. Primo barbecue pits, Icy Tech coolers. They can go anywhere and cater anything for you. Go to 751-7665 to call Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market, where good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Continue with the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show. LSU beats Florida 17-16 in Gainesville. It'll be a fun ride home. We'll speak to Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com as we do always on the post-game show. Brian, good evening. Your thoughts on the game?
Well, it was kind of a look. Forget about any type of the numbers. It wasn't a pretty game. I don't think either team played particularly well, but LSU had to grind out a victory. They needed a win. They had to get a win. They showed grit, determination, everything that you want to say. And look, after Pinheiro missed the extra point to make it 17-16, Florida had 3 possessions in the fourth quarter. And, basically they did nothing. Now, 2 of the 3 times, thanks to one punt by Josh Crosby and one punt by Zach Von Rosenberg, they had terrible field position. And the one time that they did have pretty good field position started around their 40-yard line. LSU got a 3-and-out, and the big play was on 3rd and 9 when Christian Lockator and Greg Gilmore combined to sack Franks. So, look, they had everybody questioned, okay, how was this team going to play with a sense of urgency and play with passion today and put everything behind it as it happened? And the answer to that was yes. And, was there some good fortune for LSU? Absolutely. You have a guy miss an extra point. So if the game is 17-17, who knows what's going to happen in the fourth quarter. But LSU needed a win. They got a win. They played gritty. They grinded it out. And I think you got to give all the credit to the players and Ed Orgeron and his coaching staff for coming through today.
What did he say? What did Coach O say after the game? And Brian, do you ever remember LSU playing 3 true freshmen on the offensive line in a pertinent SEC game?
No, that's never happened. They've never done that. Look, we're talking about that LSU had never started the season opener with 1 true freshman, and here you are, in your second conference game, and because of injuries, you had to play 3 of them. So that never happened. Look, Ed just talked about how everything that happened this week. He said, look, the players heard it, the coaches heard it, what everybody was saying about them, and he knew. He said, look, I don't know. He didn't know how well they were going to play, but he knew they were going to play hard and play with a lot of effort and passion, and that's exactly what they did. And it's funny. The wide receivers rushed for 105 yards on 10 carries, and Darius Geis and Darrell Williams rushed for 85 yards on 29 carries. So the wide receivers gained more rushing yards than the running backs gained. And I'm thinking right here, the running backs may have caught more passes than the wide receivers.
Yep.
They did.
Yep.
Running backs, in fact, the long ball with Chark was the only catch by a wide receiver all day. The running backs caught 5, and the H-back slash tight ends caught 3, and the wide receivers caught 1. So the wide receivers did the running, and the backs did the pass catch.
Good point.
Brian, any update on KJ Malone and obviously Toby Weathersby?
Well, Malone went back into the game, so he went back in for a while there in the second half, and then went out again. So I don't know what his status is. Weathersby supposedly was a matter of the heat got to him. That's what I'm hearing, that he had a case of heat exhaustion. So.
And then Rashard Lawrence tweaked an ankle again, but didn't he go back?
Yeah, he was in at the end of the game. So he went in. So he was in and out, but he was in at the end of the game. Corey Thompson was in at the end of the game. I don't know if John Battle, he had a
no,
too, and
he didn't go back.
He was not in at the end of the game. I think Eric Monroe was in then. So look. You have to give, as much as these players and coaching staff has been criticized for the last 7 to 10 days. I think you have to do nothing but give them credit for what they did this afternoon. Like I said, it wasn't a pretty game. Florida's not a great team, but they won there, where Florida has only lost 1 game in the Swamp since McElwain became coach. They'd only lost 1 game. Decided by fewer than 9 points anywhere since McElwain had been coach. They were 9-1. LSU won a close game and won at Florida. So look, I've been saying all along that these 2 games in October, Florida and Auburn, were going to tell you about how this season was going to go. And they got a win here against Florida today. And now look, as things have played out, there's no doubt that Auburn is a much better team than Florida. And, really, when you look at it right now, Alabama, Georgia, and Auburn appear to be much better than the other 11 teams in the conference. So one of those 3 are coming to Baton Rouge next week, and, we'll see how LSU plays in that game.
All right, Brian, tell us what's happening at TigerBait.com.
www.tigerbait.com. We'll have all the post-game coverage of the LSU-Florida game, and then, the latest in recruiting, and then we'll get ready for next week's game against Auburn.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Brian.
it.
Talk to you during the week.
All right, let's go to Rocco in Baton Rouge. Rocco, hello, you're on a post-game show.
Hey, TK, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Rocco, free pool boys for everybody. Let's meet over at Rocco's.
We won.
Hey, buddy, nice to have you have a call in, and at least you're a little more happy. Look, from a businessman, Rocco, what it means to Baton Rouge businesses when the Tigers win. And even though it wasn't the prettiest thing, it's got to make everybody feel a little bit better, Rocco.
Well, a W's better than a L anytime, buddy. And, you know, TK and I were talking earlier in the week, and I was telling a story about how my kids' birthday was. I took first, and I took him and about six of his friends to the game. And at halftime last week, those boys are ready to go. You know, they're 12-year-olds, you know, so when they're ready to pack it up and go eat at Hooters, you know, rather than watch a game, it tells you something about where the program is at that point. But I have to tell you, this team came out tonight. They showed some resilience. They got out there. They got after it. They moved the ball. They were physical on the line. And, you know, there was some positives tonight. I mean, you can't say anything other than that. Now, Etling, I think, still really has to do a better job of managing the game, but we really can't complain. I mean, they did pretty good tonight.
Rocco, it is. We talked about it at lunch the other day. They got to figure out a way to get a win. They did that. We got to give them credit. As much as I got on them and everybody got on them after losing to Troy, they deserve the credit for finding a way to leave Gainesville with a win, and it certainly makes things better for this upcoming week.
Well, I mean, it certainly is a stepping stone in the right direction.
Yes.
You know, we talk about, you know, what the rest of the season means for the Tigers. I mean, we got Ole Miss, we got Tennessee, we've got Texas A&M. Notice I skipped over Alabama. And, you know, we've got, you know, 3 or 4 games down the road that are definitely, you know, capable of winning. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you that we can't beat Alabama, but what I'm going to say is that we have to win the games that we are capable of winning to get us to the next step, to, you know, proceed and move forward for, you know, what happens this year and on to next year. So.
All right, Rocco, appreciate it.
Thank you, Rock.
Thank you. All right, let's go to Dean in Baton Rouge. Dean, you're on the postgame show.
Hey, gentlemen, how you doing?
What's up, Dean?
A few points. Number one, we're all very lucky that that hurricane decided to go elsewhere. Otherwise, we're looking at a completely different type of Saturday night instead of talking football.
Agreed.
Number two, LSU got a great win tonight. Ugly, but I just hate to think what this show and the radio shows next week would have been like had the Tigers folded tonight. It would have been ugly. It still may be. Thirdly, Dango knows a whole lot more about football than Louie. That's very clear to me. I think Dango played some college football. I'm not sure about that, but I think he played somewhere in small college football in Louisiana. And lastly, guys, the penalties. My God, you are not going to beat the people you should beat if you could. How many penalties did LSU have tonight?
5.
5?
Yes.
Oh, it seemed like a whole lot more than that, didn't it? I think there were 3 alone on one guy, offensive lineman moving. Am I correct?
Yeah, and then you had Key hit with the late hit out of bounds. You had interference on Jackson. I think that's the 5.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you what, it just seemed – and players on both sides going down to injuries. My God, it was like a mass unit out there.
It was a physical game.
And it was hotter. You know, Dean, look, a lot of people know about the heat and humidity, and I think the heat did play a factor. I was worried about the LSU defense running out of gas. Dean, I thought 5 out of 7 on third down in the first half was much, much better. We don't have the stats on the second half. It wasn't nearly as good, but you know, LSU's going to have to play appreciably better to beat Auburn, but this is a starting point of reestablishing some confidence and getting this town back behind them because, Dino, if they lost this game, then you're talking about empties and you're not talking about a home field advantage next Saturday. And I agree with TK. I think it's going to be 2:30 on CBS. We'll wait to have the announcement tonight or in the morning.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it did breathe a little bit of life back into this program. There's a lot of things to talk about that they can improve, and I don't even know if they're capable of improving some of these things.
They got to get a better
officiating.
officiating.
Who they are right now, just an inexperienced team with not a lot of depth. But, you know, it was a big win, and I tell you what, Florida got exactly what they deserved, and it should have been worse. Does that sound familiar?
Good point.
I like it, Dino.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
Hey, Alan over the Pelican made the point earlier. If you look at the Troy game and you look at the Florida game, if you have to lose one of those, you want to lose to Troy. Okay, because this is a conference game. And this will hopefully spark positive stuff going forward with Auburn coming to town next week again. Probably 2:30. We don't know that for sure. Once the Alabama A&M game concludes later tonight, the FCC will make those decisions. It'll get posted on their website if you want to take a look real late tonight. We're going to take a break, come back. We're going to head to Gainesville, visit with Ronnie Rance of Sports Choice Radio, Sports Choice TV, right after this pause. Tigers win 17-16. Stay with us. Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, a CLK multifamily management property. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. Stop by Cypress Lake Apartments, call 225-293-6789, or go online, live at cypresslakeapts.com.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hooper Road Car Care in Central has been serving customers for over 24 years. Locally owned by Donald and Gina Gaspard, they provide all types of car care, including brakes, alignment, tune-ups, oil changes, AC service, transmission, computer diagnostic, and much more. Hooper Road Car Care also provides towing services. Call 225-262-7127. Open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, 9695 Hooper Road in Central. We continue with the Pelican Sports post-game show. Let's go down to Gainesville, to the locker room. Ronnie Rance of Sports Choice Radio and Sports Choice TV and the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. Ronnie, welcome to the post-game show.
Thanks, fellas. 2 observations from this one. One, the wise guys oftentimes know what they're doing, right?
Yes.
LSU wins by 1 on a missed extra point with one of the greatest kickers in Florida history. And the line kept going down. LSU was getting a lot of traction to win this game. And then 2, who knew that LSU was going to have the advantage in the field goal kick game coming into this one? They make the big 30-plus-yard field goal. They don't miss an extra point, and that was the difference in the game.
Ronnie, I know you got in the locker room. You talked to a couple of the guys on the defensive side of the ball. What was the feeling like, and what did these guys say?
Yeah, I talked to Locator and White. Some of the leaders on that defense, and they said it started with practice. They had a players meeting. They paid attention to detail more. They gave great effort in practice. They felt like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday they had really good practices. They stressed starting fast, and they felt like that was the case. And then I asked them, did it help playing away from home? And Corey Thomas Thompson, who said, and said he likes playing on the road, just from the standpoint of the travel, the camaraderie, and all that. He always enjoys playing on the road. And I think this came at the right time. I think that was obvious that this team enjoyed playing on the road, getting away from the half-full stadium at the end and the boo birds and kind of rallying the troops and pulling out a victory when a lot of people thought they could win. So that was the case today.
Ronnie, let me ask you this question. I can say this now, maybe I couldn't have said it before. Knowing what we know now and the things you just said about them working hard and doing better at practice, might they have overlooked Troy a little bit?
There's no question about that, when you play a team like Troy, you and I and Bonnie know that Troy's been a good program for a long time, and we know the history that they've come in here and played LSU close in the past and blown big leads. But these guys are 18, 19, 20 years old. They don't have any reference points to that history, nor do they care. And so it's natural that, there's a letdown factor. But there was a letdown factor the week before against Syracuse. I think that's the part that people were surprised, that they had their layup bad game against Syracuse. You thought they would have rallied the troops and played there against Troy, and they did.
Ronnie, everybody wants to know what they have to do now to beat Auburn. Stidham and their running backs and their defense have played mighty, mighty well the last 3 or 4 weeks. A tough loss to Clemson early. What's LSU got to clean up to beat Auburn? And you got any injury updates on the severity of some of those guys that went out for the Tigers today?
Yeah, no, I don't know. The offensive line, obviously, there were 2 or 3 guys banged up on that offensive line, and that's going to be the key. But if they didn't give any info on that, I thought it was pretty obvious. I talked to DJ Chark after the game. It was pretty obvious that this was Matt Canada's offense today. A lot of movement, a lot of speed sweeps, a lot of it wasn't as predictable as the last couple of weeks were. And we saw the running backs, the receivers rather, carry the load for the running back core. It's obvious Geis isn't 100% healthy. And you ask, what are they going to do to beat Auburn? They're going to have to really spread the ball. They're going to have to be real creative on offense. They're going to have to figure out a way to throw the football. And they're going to have to be able to put up points. Auburn's going to get their points, and I haven't seen anything from this offense. And today, buddy, I didn't see anything from this offense that tells me that LSU can beat Auburn next week, because I don't know that they can outscore Auburn, and Auburn's going to get theirs.
I think they were 5 of 7 in the first half on third downs. They were 1 of 7 on third downs in the second half. That's got to get better. Danny Etlin's got to play a little bit better. Obviously, we'll update on the offensive line. You talked to Devin White. He seems, him and 18, Locketeur, seem to be the heart and the glue of this football team, especially the defense.
There's no question they are the leaders. They speak for the defense. They've been around a long time, and look, White's playing well. He's done also a great start, making a lot of tackles. This was a very physical game, which most of the time LSU is far hard, smash mouth, and with both offensive quarterbacks not being able to push the ball down the field. This is a very physical game that, of course, defensive players love to play.
All right, Ronnie, tell us all about Sports Choice Radio and Sports Choice TV and what's shaking with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame up in Natchitoches.
Well, speaking of the Hall of Fame, I was on the sidelines with David Toms today. He flew with the team, and he was a cheerleader on that sidelines, and super excited to watch his Tigers win. There's no bigger fan than him. And Sports Choice Radio, Mondays from 6 to 8 on ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge. And then this week will be a curbside restaurant on Government Street, so come join us for great burgers. And then, of course, Sports Choice TV right here on Pelican, Mondays at 9, Tuesdays at 8.
Ronnie, safe travels back from Gainesville. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Jumbo.
Guys, y'all have a good one. Thanks.
All right. David Toms is a big fan. You can't beat him in golf.
No, David Toms, are you kidding? He's one of the greatest to ever come out of LSU, and obviously that major win that he had was pretty special for him.
I can tell you a story about him real quick. We did a TV interview with him. He was doing a clinic out at the U Club back in the day when Richard and I had a TV show. And he had it real quick. He opened it up to questions. There was, 40, 50 guys there. Here's David Thompson. It was only a couple of years after he won the PGA.
Yeah.
And one guy raised his hand and said, wanted some advice on hitting the ball out of a fairway bunker. And David told him, said, here's the advice. Don't hit it in there.
Yeah.
Then you won't have to worry about hitting it out of there. That was pretty good stuff. But anyway, no.
He's a big fan, and he's been close to all of the LSU football coaches. Of course, he played golf with Nick Saban, and I don't think Coach O plays golf, and Les didn't really play golf, but he is a great Tiger fan, and probably a little bit of a good luck charm. Look, enjoy this one tonight. It wasn't pretty, but with all the emotions and things that was said.
Like we said, it goes up and down,
but
man.
with
We've
that
seen
Florida especially, I think Boss Man Allen made a great point. Look, I don't think anybody would trade right now to take a win over Troy and a loss to Florida. All of that built up, and McElwain saying it last year, we deserved a game and it should have been more. I'm glad LSU didn't follow with that, but this has become a heated rivalry. LSU will have to go back one more time to play in Gainesville, but everybody's happy tonight. Can't celebrate more than 24 hours because now you gotta play better. Let's be honest. You got to play a lot better to beat Auburn next Saturday.
And tomorrow they'll know what time the kickoff is. Buddy and I both think, we only can assume that it'll be 2:30. Well, everybody will know that for sure tomorrow, and of course, you'll know the drill on the post-game show after that. We'll take our final break of the evening, come back and put a wrap. LSU wins 17-16. Auburn, who beat Ole Miss today. Auburn comes to town next week. LSU goes to Ole Miss the week after that. As I said on the radio, chance for LSU fans to look at the next two opponents when those two played today. Auburn beat them 44-23. That game was on the Plains. Final break. We'll come back and put a wrap on it right here on Pelican Sports TV and WUBR Radio. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Spread the roar. That's right, Tigers Roar. Each Wednesday night at 8 p.m., Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans. Replays are Thursday through Saturday, and the show is available at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Tommy Chrysan and Jordy Holtberg will have the latest on LSU football, LSU sports, and sports from across Louisiana. Spread the roar. Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV.
Final segment here on the post-game show. Don't forget the TV and airs Sunday mornings. Back-to-back airings, 9 a.m. and 10:30 for you. And then, of course, all the good stuff during the week, the Roger Kadar Show, Sports Shows with Ronnie Rance, Tigers Roar Wednesday night, many, many other programs for you as well. Couple of quick individual stats for you. Danny Etley, 9 of 16 for 125 yards, 1 touchdown. Rushing, Brian pointed it out, the receivers had all the rushing yards. Russell Gage, 6 for 52. Derek Dillon 1 for 30 before he was out of there. Shark 3 for 23. Geis ended up with 17 carries for 50 yards. Darrell Williams 12 carries for 35 yards. Receiving, Darrell Williams led the way receiving. 3 catches for 29 yards for Darrell Williams. 2 catches for Foster Moreau for 26. 2 catches for Geis for 21. Torrey Carter had 1 catch, but it was a 2-yard touchdown. DJ Shark 1 catch, 47 yards, the simultaneous thing. No turnovers for LSU, 5 penalties, about 7 minutes advantage in the time of possession there. Let's see, DJ.
5 sacks for the defense, 6 of 14 on 3rd down, but they were only 1 of 7 in the second half. TK, I think everybody realized they got to throw the ball a little bit better next week to win the football
Couple of team stats. LSU had 341 yards on offense, 125 passing, 216 rushing, 5 penalties, as I mentioned, 33:50 on the clock with the possession. So that's what we have for you there. Buddy, some scores from around the conference.
Miami comes back to defeat Florida State. Jimbo has lost a little luster on his star.
1-3.
24-20 today, Florida State over. TCU holds on to beat West Virginia 31-24. Bama having a ball game. This is the first time this year they've been challenged 10-3. You might want to watch that one. It's going to be an excellent game. Texas A&M, they always start fast. Big game for Kevin Sumlin and his future. Of course, you alluded to it. Auburn steamrolled early and kind of mailed it in the second half. Lo and behold, we know that they will come in here. And I don't think LSU is often a dog at home. But if I had anything to say it, I would put Auburn the favorite in this game. But then again, with point spreads, TK, that was just crazy. We thought Florida would be 6.5.
Craziest thing I've ever seen.
The movement that they had in that game, there was a lot of money won on LSU in this game this weekend.
Clemson won but didn't cover the spread. They were favored by 21. They won 28-14. As we mentioned, Oklahoma loses straight up at home to Iowa State. Goodbye, Big 12. You're missing the college football playoff again. So, you know, you have some other games that are happening out on the West Coast tonight. Baseball playoffs are rocking and rolling. But the big story, LSU 17, Florida 16. It's a final. We said I didn't think they could win, but I said it would be a good thing if they could leave Gainesville with a W. Lo and behold, buddy, they're going to have a fun ride back home on that charter flight. And don't celebrate too long because Auburn will be here next Saturday.
I predicted it 23-17, but, you know, the only reason I did go with that is because of the spread and all of the big money coming in on LSU. Big week for Coach Ogeron. Everybody mimicked and called him every name in the book after he leaked it out.
Including me.
After he leaked it out
guilty.
with the meeting with the coordinators and the ADs, he threw some people under the bus. You know, we said this a couple of weeks ago. You learn the most about your personality, your character, and your gut when you are up against the wall. It was good enough today. They've got to play better next week, but this is something that I think Coach O can teach from. Got to give you updates on the daily shows. We'll update the injury situation. Obviously, we'll all be back on the air on Monday. And TK, suffice to say, this program, this team, this city needed what happened today from a momentum and a confidence standpoint. And like Dean said, he said a mouthful. We're blessed. We're not going to have any damage with the hurricane and got a victory. So pretty good weekend. We hope everybody enjoys it.
Yeah, Nate's wearing out some other people, not the people in the Baton Rouge and surrounding areas, but a little more to the east. Be careful out there, and let's hope nothing too bad happens with that. Don't forget Tigers Roar Wednesday night. Don't forget the YouTube channel. A lot of the programming here, you can watch it at your convenience, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We're on Facebook, Pelican Broadcasting. Twitter is at Pelican Sports. All the local radio guys, all the local TV, and of course, the hunting and fishing and outdoors programming that the Pelican has become known about. Hey, appreciate all the calls and the text messages. On behalf of the entire crew here at the Pelican, he's Buddy Sanji. I'm Tommy Christ saying Tigers win 17-16.